Hey everybody, welcome to SaltyOldGamer, where we're on an airsoft journey and we're sharing everything we learn along the way. Today we're talking about BB weight. If you're new to airsoft, probably one of the first things you're asking is, does the weight of the BB really matter? Yeah, it matters, and we're going to tell you exactly why, so stay tuned. Welcome everybody. So let's talk about BBs and all the different ones you have available. And does it even matter? The short answer is yes, it does matter. Weight matters, quality matters, and in what situations to use each matters. When it comes to quality, if you're putting subpar quality BBs in your gun, you could be running a risk. Subpar BBs could have seams on them, they could have imperfect roundness, there could even be imperfections and bubbles inside of the BB itself. And if you're putting those through your gun, they could break up inside of your gun and cause you a whole lot of headache. Always put a reputable brand of BB through your gun. We always use Elite Force. It seems to be the go-to gold standard in the airsoft industry, but there are a lot of great BB brands out there, so check around because sometimes you can find a bargain on BBs, especially at high quantity. But if you want to stay on the safe side, just go with Elite Force because you can't go wrong. So let's head over to the table and talk about the different BB weights and when you should be using them. Just a little show and tell here. There's a lot of different brands of BBs out there that are all very good and a lot of different weights. These are just a few examples. Generally speaking, when it comes to weight, nothing really goes below a 0.20 gram BB. Lower than that is really for your spring-powered airsoft toys. And also generally speaking, the higher the weight, the more accurate your shot, but the lower your FPS is going to be. Yes, when you put a heavier BB in your gun, it is going to slow down the FPS, generally from about 30 to 35 feet per second. So if you've got a gun that's shooting right at 400 feet per second, using 0.20 gram BBs, if you put 0.25s in, you're probably going to be shooting around 360. Put 0.28s in, you're probably going to be shooting around 320, and so on and so forth. And that's really nothing to be alarmed about. It's totally to be expected, and it's not necessarily a bad thing either. Heavier BBs are going to cut through the wind, and they may even cut through some light brush and leaves and branches and things. So let's talk about under what circumstances you're going to use each of these. So for your AEG, you could run a 0.20, but under normal circumstances, you don't really want to use 0.20s unless you're filling up a grenade or playing indoor CQB. If you're playing indoor CQB, distances are small and you're close enough that your shots are going to be accurate with 0.20 gram BBs. So you should be running 0.20 gram BBs for indoor CQB in your pistols, in your submachine guns, and in your AEG rifles. But now when you're playing outdoors, you probably want to skip the 0.20s and go to something like a 0.25 or 0.28. Because again, these are going to cut through the air a little bit better. They are going to be at a slower FPS, but despite that, and kind of counterintuitive to thinking, these are actually going to go further and be more accurate, even though they're going slower. If you've got a gun that has a really good hop up and can support the weight, you may even go to like a 0.30 or a 0.32 in your AEG rifle. For designated marksman rifles, you definitely want to be running at least a 0.30, probably a 0.32 or higher. And for snipers, 0.32 is absolutely the minimum that you want to be running. And if you have a quality sniper rifle that can support the weight, you want to be using a 0.40 or even a 0.46. Now in your pistols, you probably are just going to run a 0.20 again because most of your encounter is going to be relatively close up. I usually go with a 0.25 simply because it is a little bit more accurate. And if you end up engaging somebody from like the 50 to 75 foot range, it gives you a little bit more accuracy and a little bit more weight. So notice that every one of these examples I have on the table here are biodegradable BBs. And if you're debating whether to go with biodegradable versus regular, it's just a personal preference. Some outdoor fields do require biodegradable BBs, and they tend to be a little bit more expensive, but just my personal opinion, it's worth a little bit of extra money to know that these are going to dissolve within about 30 days. And, if you're playing indoor CQB, a lot of people think there's really no reason to use biodegradable BBs indoors, but, they're going to sweep all those BBs up and they're going to end up in a landfill somewhere. So you might as well use biodegradable BBs if you can afford to. So there you go. We hope that this conversation has been helpful in educating you on when to use what BBs in your guns. And if you found it helpful, remember to leave us a like. And as always, be sure to join us on our airsoft journey by hitting that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.